Hey, what's up guys? Gonz here for the Face Like the Sun YouTube channel. In a book written by George Orwell called 1984, a world is described, a dystopian world that's under the control of Big Brother, who's always watching through all kinds of devices. And through several psychological tactics and operations, the thought police controlled the flow of information, all to supply the party, which was controlled by Big Brother. If you haven't read it before, you should, just so you can see how eerily similar certain aspects of this dystopian world is to our own world today. Now, the counterbook to 1984 is Brave New World. I was lucky enough to have an English teacher who had us read both 1984 and Brave New World back to back my sophomore year of high school, which was probably unusual for a lot of people growing up. In any case, Brave New World talks about a society not controlled by fear like 1984, but by pleasure. The reality is both 1984 and Brave New World elements have come true in our world today. On one hand, there is a Big Brother watching us. Just look at all the cameras and devices we see all around us now. And the world for the political correct is also becoming very rigid. There's an unspoken thought police out there on the internet that seems to govern the affairs of what goes on in social media, not in any kind of official way, but by social engineering. But for our society to find itself in such a highly controlled state, yet highly distracted, requires certain pillars of influence, and that's what this video is about. Now, in the Bible, in Exodus 20 verses 4 through 6, the second commandment tells us not to have idols. And how does this second commandment apply to our modern materialistic world? Well, people today tend to worship the works of their hands, and idolatry today is often connected to coveting, with desiring to have more and being like the rich and famous. That whole mentality is modern day idol worship, and our culture is immersed in this idol worship, and most of it comes from the world of the arts, entertainment, and sports. Now, in order to honor the basic philosophies that were presented in the book 1984, it wouldn't surprise me in the least that they would take people born in the year 1984 and groom them to become idols for a generation that is obviously highly under their control right now. So here are 7 Illuminati idols born in the year 1984 in no particular order. Number 1, Katy Perry, the mystery religion poster child. Now, there's been plenty of exposed videos of Katy Perry's work in the last few years, and I know some folks get sick of it, but the evidence is quite clear. The spiritual philosophies that is at the foundation for pretty much all of what Katy Perry has produced for these major corporate outlets has been the flaunting of the mystery religions. You have Egyptian goddess worship, you have her riding the beast at the Super Bowl, you have her having sex with an alien to become a hybrid in a music video. It's not an accident, and the fact that she's born in 1984 shouldn't be very surprising either. Number 2, Scarlett Johansson, the transhumanist poster child. Now, if there ever was an Illuminati poster child in movies, it's Scarlett Johansson. She's been the darling of transhumanism with her contributions to the Avengers series with Captain America and Iron Man, but even more, films like Her, where a dude falls in love with a computer, or Lucy, where this alchemical mineral causes her to become this black goo god, or Under the Skin, where Scarlett Johansson plays an alien, much like a succubus, who lures men with lust into this black goo where they die. She's a prolific actress and has been given these very exquisite roles in Hollywood, and it's no surprise that she is born in the year 1984. Number 3, Ryan Lochte. Now, I debated whether to go with Lochte here because he's not really a celebrity in the way the others are on this list, but he was a reality TV show star, quote unquote, and his recent news about lying to the public about being held up at gunpoint at the Rio Olympic Games made me think, yeah, just throw him in because he does seem to represent part of this generation, and I find it interesting that this guy born in 1984 has been used in a way to define jock culture, that sort of meathead mentality. And if anything, the Illuminati and the New World Order system loves to use any kind of public story to shape public opinion. In this case, Ryan Lochte, representing America at the world stage like the Olympics, basically made all of us look like untrustworthy meathead jocks to the rest of the world. And while I admit there are probably better names that could have been on this list, like Olivia Wilde, Ashley Simpson, or even Avril Lavigne, I went with Ryan Lochte because regardless of how successful or popular his name is, he is a guy born in 1984 made to represent this jock meathead culture. Number 4. LeBron James, athletic superstar savior figure. You want to talk about a man who is worshipped? Just bring up the name LeBron James. Now, I've been an NBA fan since I was a kid. It's kind of a guilty pleasure of mine, and I can appreciate the athleticism and strength that goes with being a world-class athlete like in the sport of basketball. But the media campaign that has surrounded LeBron James since his entering the NBA has always had this savior mentality or savior figure to it. His nickname is King James, and a couple years ago he had his Coming Home campaign where he was basically being compared to the prodigal son to the city of Cleveland. He was born and raised in Akron, Ohio, and he was drafted by his hometown Cleveland Cavaliers, then left to play in Miami for a few years, and then came back to Cleveland for this coming home prodigal son thing. And then earlier in 2016, he solidified his legacy by winning an NBA championship against the Golden State Warriors. But his Illuminati ties are unmistakable. And is it just coincidence that a guy born in 1984 will become the world's most famous athlete in the era of social media and marketing? And speaking of social media, number 5, Mark Zuckerberg, the technocratic scientific dictatorship, a virtual panopticon in the works. We all know Facebook is basically trying to take over your entire life. And given the premise of the book 1984, it's simply ironic that the guy who runs one of the biggest social media platforms, which by the way was created with the assistance of the CIA, was born in 1984. Now, a panopticon is when a central watchtower is able to keep monitor or keep view of all the inmates in their cells, and each inmate doesn't know if they're being watched or not. And effectively, the man in the watchtower can shoot the inmates at any point if they are seen doing anything outside of protocol. This fear instigates the high likeliness that the inmates will comply to whatever rules are of that prison or else be killed. Now, Facebook and all social media platforms for that matter are devices that are helping to build a virtual panopticon, where everyone's privacies are being invaded by the select few who have access to the back end of these devices all around the world. Now, I can do an entire video or even a whole documentary on the connection with Facebook to all kinds of nefarious ideas and institutions, but either way, the alleged face behind Facebook was born circa 1984. Number 6, Prince Harry. The influence of a royal class or bloodline is managed with someone like Prince Harry. As the younger son of Princess Diana, the attention has been on him since his birth, but perhaps even more after the murder of Princess Diana. And yes, there is plenty of good evidence to suggest that Princess Diana was murdered. And being the child of perhaps one of the biggest Illuminati murders in recent memory, it's quite probable that her children have, one way or another, been influenced by the invisible hand. A few years ago, a picture surfaced online with Prince Harry in his birthday suit, and it was very embarrassing for him, but since then he's been really active in the community and doing all these positive things, even promoting something called the Invictus Games. And all you gotta do is look at the logo for the Invictus Games to know what you're dealing with. So even the royalty class has their 1984 born face through a guy like Prince Harry. And number 7, Calvin Harris, the EDM icon. He made $46 million in 2014 according to Forbes, and he is the most popular DJ ever. His connection to the Illuminati and all the symbolism is so obvious that I don't even really have to talk about it a whole lot. His recent collaboration with Rihanna should say it all. But here's another person born in 1984 who has major influence over culture and society. So there you have it, 7 Illuminati idols born in 1984. These people are the faces of corporations that produce billions and billions of dollars at your expense to simply distract you from what's going on, all while encoding the Luciferian philosophy into the greater population and into the minds of the millennial generation and beyond. And why do they keep you distracted? Because the last thing they want you to know is not simply what they're up to, but it's the actual freedom that's found with the truth in the gospel message of Jesus Christ. Why do you think the gospel has been so manipulated and tortured in the mainstream church? Why do you think it's been weaponized in politics? Why do you think the message that brings humanity hope from a loving God is viewed largely by the millennial generation and beyond as the very problem with society? It's because this generation has been conditioned largely by the public figures like the ones I mentioned here, who willingly or not have furthered the agenda for global enslavement and to indoctrinate the masses into the mystery religious philosophies, the Luciferian doctrine. So wake up, folks. The way, the truth, and the life is found in Jesus Christ alone. Have an awesome day, guys. God bless.